What's going on, treasure hunters? Welcome back to Martial Metal Detecting. This time, I want to do is kind of just give you guys a quick rundown on how you can find places to go treasure hunting from the comfort of your own home by using a couple apps online. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what you really want to go to first is a website called historicmapworks.com. So jump out there. I'm already at the home page. You don't even have to sign up to use this site. You can go straight to the browse feature. So I'm going to go there and then just hit interactive browse. And so this brings up the whole world. I'm going to search in the United States because that's where I'm at. And I'm going to hit Michigan. So what this does is this is going to list um, all the cities and counties in Michigan. So I'm just going to search for Jackson, and it populates Jackson County. So if I click on that, you can see all the towns and cities in Jackson County. So right now I'm just going to choose Concord Township as an example. And so what you can do is basically just zoom in with the wheel on your mouse in and out. And the red shaded area here is the village limits. And then everything else is the township, right? Well, let's take a look at a couple of these icons. This doesn't have a legend, but what these little symbols mean is like this one right here, these squares with little tiny squares inside, that means it's a field. And then these black squares that you see randomly along the roads, those are residential homes. And so these ones with a black dot with a little field on it, so you could say it's a a farm or someone's farming home site. And then there's these ones here that actually look like a house, but obviously this one has a steeple on it, so that's a church. And there's ones like this one right here, right by the 20. You see this one looks the same except without the steeple, so that's usually like a one-room schoolhouse. Um, both great places to go treasure hunting if you can figure out, if the house or the church is still there or not. Either way, some of those relics are going to be left in the dirt there in the soil. But it also gives you, if metal detecting isn't your thing, let's say you want to go in the river, you could also, I mean, it's got all these are plat maps, so you can see um, all the areas where the river was and what was near it. So maybe there was a home site like this one was really close to this river. So let's say that house doesn't exist or this little farm, maybe that's not there anymore, but they might have dumped some stuff in the river right here. So that might be a really good spot to go looking in the river for bottles or other relics. So pretty cool. But what I can do is I can kind of show you um, what else you can do is use Google Earth. And so you just grab a screenshot of this. So I'm going to go here, and I'm using Windows 10. And built into Windows 10 is the snipping tool. And so I'm just going to hit New. And then you just kind of click and drag the area that you want to take a screenshot of and just save that to your desktop or wherever you want. I already saved one earlier. So I'll save this one as corn cob. And what I'll do next is then go over to Google Earth. Now, Google Earth has an online version, a web version, but that doesn't have what's called the map or image overlay. You'll want to download the entire Google Earth Pro to your computer to get this functionality out of it. So in the top left, just search for Concord, and Google Earth will jump right into it. All right, so that's an updated map of Concord. So what we can do, we can just go right ahead and use the map or the image overlay. And right up here in the toolbar, you have these little icons. So it's add image overlay, and it's going to put a little grid right on the screen, and that's where it's going to place your picture. A couple things here about this grid is that you can manipulate how big the picture is. If you grab the corner and just click and drag, you can shrink it or expand it. You can also use the score or the plus sign right in the center to move the entire picture, and then this diamond will tilt it left and right. So you can try to get it exactly close as you can to what's on the actual Google map. So that's pretty sweet. And then you notice this pops up. What this is, this allows you to find your picture, but it also has this transparency tab that, or this gauge that you can go um, fully clear or fully opaque. So let me give you an example. So I'm just going to jump out to the file I saved and it places it right over top, and we're right in that grid. And here's that transparency gauge, so you can see, you can hide it and you can bring it back up. And that's how you can really use that functionality to adjust this picture to make it fit the way you want it to. So this is, I think I got, yeah, here we go. So I might have to put you on a quick pause, but I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing here. So basically I see this road here, and I want to line it right up with this road. Then I also want it to be lined up, I think right here is the main road coming through town. Make this a little bit bigger, like that. Now I got this road's lining up, this road's lining up pretty close. And then the train track goes right down through here. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And then you can zoom right in on town and try to get everything matched up. So I think if I were to look for this, this road right here, this where crosses, looks like it needs to come up a little bit. So I'm going to drag that up a little bit right here. Zoom out. And then here's another nice little indicator. You see this cross right here, that's the cemetery. And the cemetery is still there to this day. So I can use that to kind of gauge where everything is. And it's pretty close. It's pretty close. You see that it's still in the cemetery area. If anything, looks like I can move it over a little bit to the right. So we're looking pretty good. So now what we want to do basically is we're going to study the old map first to see where some of these old houses were in town. So I'm going to check out this one here. There's a little, oh, this is what you can do. You can use the water, these little ponds, to line up your picture as well. It's actually, whoa, that's too big. You could do something like that. So you kind of get the gist of that. So what I want to look at is if we scroll or zoom in, we see these two little farms like right here. This one under the Henry Mann plot. If we were to zoom out, or not zoom out, but bring the transparency out, check this out. It looks like this house was right around this chunk of land right here. This big grassy area. Pretty close. It actually looks like from where I have this, so this says the water would be here. So it would have to move back a little bit from where this is. So it's pretty close. So this old farm was this house right here, I'm pretty sure. And if that's the case, then this back here is where they used to farm this back here. So this would be a really good spot to look into a little bit closer, and let's see who owns this. Like, how would I know who owns this, and how could I even get a hold of them to go ask, besides otherwise just going to knock on their door? That's one way. But there's another way you can figure this out, and that is you go out to the internet and you want to search for your county and your state's GIS maps. So let me give you an example here. So we'll do Jackson, Michigan GIS map. It's also called a parcel viewer. So let's go ahead, we're just going to click on that. So it might be a GIS map, it might be called parcel viewer, but just search for your county in your state and then GIS map. So I'll hit enter, and this looks really simple, and it is really, all you do is just zoom in, and this will literally, it's a little bit slow, my internet here, but what we can do is just zoom in and it'll show you each little plot of land and who owns it, what their name is, or what the company is that owns the land, what their mailing address is too. In this case, this piece of land, excuse me, it's near the school. It's in between the school and the church. So let's check this out a little bit closer. Here you go. So there's the pond. Here's the church. Yep, St. Catherine's. That's the Catholic Church. And there's the school. So here's the house. This has got to be it right here. This is the house which was the farmhouse, which means this back here is where they were farming. And this just happens to be owned by the school. So this is public. This is public property right here. So check this out. You really wouldn't even have to go ask for permission to metal detect this, because this chunk of land right here is actually public land. You could literally just park anywhere, probably just park in the church parking lot and then just go metal detecting back here. If we zoom in, it's just a walking path is all it is. So that's perfect. That's a great spot to go. So if you're around that area, there's a freebie for you right there. So that's how you can do it. And so anyways, back to this GIS. So you can click on any single one of these houses, and I'm not going to do it right now just for privacy's sake. So I obviously don't have permission to put anyone's name and address up here. But any of these, that's how you can figure out who owns it, what their address is, and let's say it's a business. And that's what I did with this latest permission I did in my previous videos with the schoolhouse. It was actually owned by a business. So I just went back into Google and I Googled their name and address of the business, and it actually gave me a local phone number I could call. So I called them up and I said, and I got their voicemail when I called them. So just kind of like a quick role play here. I called them up, rang and rang, got the voicemail. I said, "Hi, this is Josh Marshall, and I was doing some research on some old maps that I like to go metal detecting, and I found a map from 1874, and it used to be a schoolhouse and a house, and it's actually on a piece of property that the map says that you own. So I was calling to see if maybe I could ask for permission to go onto the property and do some metal detecting." So I left them my phone number to call me back, and I was really excited about when I called them and I talked to them about it, or left a message, and I waited about 3 or 4 days, didn't hear anything, and um, actually had a voicemail back from him, and he said I could go ahead and detect it, but I called him back just to confirm that I received his voicemail, and I thanked him for the permission, and so I told him about my YouTube video or my YouTube channel, and told him to keep an eye out for videos. And I'll show him what I found. So it's pretty awesome, and so that's how you guys can do it. It's really all there is to it. So just to recap, we went to historicmapworks.com. Then you search for your state or your country. You can try your country if you're not in the United States. Go ahead. I'd actually be interested in seeing if that works for you wherever you live in your country. And then yeah, just comment in the comments down below. So after you get that, just save that and then go over to the Google Earth Pro. Now you need to download it to your computer, and then you just search for that town and then do your image overlay. You add your image overlay, and then you can search wherever you saved your file, and then you can use your transparency tab to zoom in and out. And of course, you have your grid where you can shrink the picture, expand it, you can move it, and you can tilt it. So you can line it up exactly how you need it. And then you go over to your county and state's GIS map or parcel viewer, and then you can figure out who owns exactly to this day that piece of land. And that kind of gives you just more information on how or who you should contact to go detect it, other than just going to knock on their door and ask for permission. So, you guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I can't wait to get back out in the field, find some more treasures, and I hope you guys have a great day. Get out there, find your treasure. See you on the next one.